Over 316 million people populate the United States. Out of that figure, 11.5 million people are illegal immigrants residing within the country. That's 3.7% of the population that is making Congress construct a bipartisan reform bill. Martin Unzueta is an illegal resident that has lived in the U.S. for the past 18 years. After immigrating from Mexico, he was exposed to unfair treatment in the workforce and has since been an activist fighting for the rights of immigrant workers.
I came here to this country, so like many immigrants, also looking for better conditions for my family and for me. And I began to work in different workshops until in 2001 we decided to form a union, to join a union, and I've been fired for that. So after that I said, wait a minute, something is happening here and we need to learn how to fight because it wasn't right.
Although an illegal immigrant, Martin is public about his current resident status. He has 3 civil disobedience arrests, his most recent occurring last month on Michigan Avenue. Here, you can see him being escorted by police in handcuffs during the protests. Sarah Pierce is a Chicago immigration attorney for Keller and Lentz Calvo. She is familiar with the challenges in seeking approval for immigrants to work in the U.S.
When you look at the statistics, I think the majority of agricultural workers in the United States are undocumented, and I think that is because the immigration system is hard for that particular group of people. There aren't a lot of visas available for that, and it's a difficult system for them to get into. Also a very expensive system.
The bipartisan Gang of 8 are negotiating a bill that will focus on 4 basic legislative pillars. One is to create a path to citizenship for unauthorized immigrants currently in the U.S., to establish a system that will acknowledge beneficial characteristics that will build the American economy and strengthen American families, to make an employment verification system that will stop identity theft as well as the hiring of illegal workers, and to improve the process for admitting future workers while protecting them. For years, Martin and his family have been actively fighting for immigrants' rights, but what exactly is being done to make the people's concern known to local politicians? The Chicago Council is a nonpartisan organization bringing awareness to global issues. This report, called U.S. Economic Competitiveness at Risk, a Midwest call to action on immigration reform, was created by a special task force of 53 members from all over the Midwestern area. Juliana Viol and Craig Kafora work for the Chicago Council. They explain the significance of the report.
Well, they're reading about the impact that immigration has in the Midwest and why immigration is so important to the Midwest specifically as a region. A lot of the conversation about immigration focuses on border states like Texas, Arizona, California, New Mexico. But other states have a major interest in immigration also, especially the Midwest. The Midwest is actually losing population.
In the report, the task force writes that both skilled and unskilled immigrants are essential for the region's future prosperity. The challenge is to maximize the benefits and minimize the costs, keeping the door open to all legal immigrants.
The policymakers would see where the priorities are, which issues need to be addressed at the front of any kind of legislation.
The need for immigrants in the Midwest is a sentiment that Martin can relate to.
If we get an immigration reform tomorrow, the economy of this country is going up, because all the people that right now is hiding in the houses can come out and spend money and make better business in the United States for everyone. Because many people live in the houses hiding because they are afraid to be deported, they are afraid to be in detention for the police, and they are afraid to be discriminated in some kind of form. No? This needs to be happen.
Taking a lobbyist approach is the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights, ICIRR. Fred Sau talks about the current efforts the organization is making to get political leaders on board with immigration reform.
We've been assembling, any number of different, actions, rallies, demonstrations, targeting specific members of Illinois' congressional delegation and seeking to persuade them of the importance of passing immigration reform this year.
One of these congressional members is Illinois Senator Mark Kirk, who has been silent regarding his position on the bipartisan bill. ICIRR is working to sway his vote in a direction that favors reform. Local Chicago organizations are optimistic about the Gang of Eight's immigration reform bill. However, there's one Washington, D.C. organization that has their concerns.
No matter how many people are out of work or how ill our economy gets, we need to slow legal immigration.
The Federation for American Immigration Reform, FAIR, is a nonprofit organization that sees the reform bill as hazardous to the nation. In a phone interview, Director of Research Eric Rourke voiced FAIR's concerns, stating, "We oppose the idea that someone is entitled to citizenship simply because they happen to show up within our borders. U.S. citizenship is very difficult to put a value on. It is not something that should be handed out as a cheap political favor. We are for certain things and certain types of reform. We just don't feel that this bill is really true reform." And until a final decision on the bill is made, unauthorized immigrants like Martin continue to make their voices heard while facing their own struggle in receiving citizenship.
I intend several times to fix my immigration status, but for one reason or other, it can be. So there is something that is called labor certification. I applied for labor certification many years ago, but because we were making the union, the owner decided to take away the support that he is making for me. So no immigration status again. So for many years, I may still be undocumented.
After months of drafting, the bill will finally be voted in Congress this month. So, whose voice will be heard? Only time will tell. For Good Day to Paul, I'm Odalis Suarez.